Welcome back, everyone, to the second semifinal of the Corsair Cup number 33. In the bottom right, as the pink Zerg, he is Guru. In top left, as the blue Taran, he's aLive. And we're in Apotheosis. Forced first map. Always a little unfortunate when it is unfavorable for you personally, or you as a race. And straight up, it is unfavorable for Terrans. It's not unwinnable, and certainly Terrans are winning left and right on this map, but it is something that the defensive stylings of 90% of Zergs are it's going to benefit from a longer map, and also a skinnier map where they can respond quicker side to side, base to base, with whatever you think it, whether it's mutas or roaches or even queens. You know, there's enough creep spread, so it's always something to consider when you are looking at the build choices of the Taran player. A lot of the times we see Terrans who would otherwise go for tank pushes or 3cc builds or harassment builds, like, you know, Banshee Hellion or Hellbound Attack, something like that. There are Terrans that still do that, but almost every single Taran when it comes to this map just kind of says, I guess I can't do that. Tank push would take too long, harassment would not work out well enough, and then they just have so much time where I'm not doing something as I recover from that. And the build that seems to be used is the 2-1-1. That's the build that's going to get you a decent time stim. It's going to get you units that can get across the map fairly quickly, but more importantly, can stay across the map without having to leave and or die, basically, as you can save them with the medevacts. So that's what I expect from aLive. But already he's not doing it. He's going for a factory. So I do wonder what this is going to lead into. Factory usage from aLive we saw versus the Protoss he faced, and versus the... Was it just Protoss? Really cast one of his games? Oh, anyway. Yes, Tails. Yeah, that's right. It can be very, very good. And there are ledges and whatnot to abuse here, but it looks to be Hellion. So I want to see what he does with that. It's Hellion Banshee? Not the 3rd CC. Wow. So it might just be Hellions into 3rd CC into more barracks. I've never seen a cluster of structures quite like this. Odd. But yeah, so more barracks. This is kind of like the most non-committal way of going for Hellions, by the way. Sometimes you see only 2, for instance. And then everything else is getting set up by the Taran. It's dangerous for sure, but I feel this is kind of the... Well, if you're going to play defensive and greedy and whatnot, then I can play defensive and greedy, and you aren't going to do anything about it, which is true. Okay, you shouldn't have lost the Reaper to Slowlings, but they're about to be Speedlings anyway, so whatever. He was going to die. But yeah, like, Guru, should he scout this now, might be able to respond, but time is quickly ticking here that he just would not be able to throw down anything to stop this from happening. And now it's kind of a question of what's scarier, Zerg left alone or Taran left alone? And that's going to be heavily influenced by what race you play. So I'm not gonna answer that one. It is bio, though. I mean, defensive games from Taran haven't played on Apotheosis because they go for mech, which is cool and all, but not widely used. Thank you to Matt D, by the way, for the 18-month resub. I was gonna say, that should not be something to do anything about. Right, so what has Guru seen? He now sees 2 engineering bays go down, and I think this is actually enough information to know that it's a 3cc build. It's not a lot of information, but even the 2 Hellions and nothing else, I would argue, is enough information. It's such a rare build to use, 3cc versus Zerg, like once every dozen games, 2 dozen games even, that maybe he wouldn't be able to tell. But as, like, you know, most other Taran builds don't just rely on simply 2 Hellions. You either think you missed something, like you're missing the medevac flying out, or that they are going for this hyper greedy build with 3rd CC, and soon enough he'll see it. And the 2 engineering bays just really confirm that. So I'm even surprised that Guru bothered getting the amount of lings he did. And he's still getting like 14 more lings. I think it's really for nothing. Medevacs still have to come out, even though Sim's gonna be done. And he could have gotten up to 65 drones on a 4th base. And then built lings. He really had that much time and that much just freedom on this map and with these builds. But instead gonna try and get into the natural, I suppose? Like, with these amount of lings, no? I wondered if maybe there was a bit of a timing where you could overwhelm the Taran production. But it's not so. So, I don't know, Guru not doing much of these lings. These could have been drones, but again, this is not like the worst situation in the world for him to have to build those. Is getting a 4th hatchery now. At the gold, of course. And it is going to be Mutiling Bling from Guru, by the way. So, it's the composition that does make the most sense, I feel, on Apotheosis. You can go to Roach Ravager with melee upgrades and 2 fast Ultralisk, and that's cool and that's fine, but a lot of Terrans are being very confident in matching that. You already have this passive game, and you already have 3, you know, bases, 4 bases for each of you. The chances that aLive will take it to the late game and be okay against Ultras is actually kind of high here, instead of all leaning on 3 bases and trying to get a game to stop right then and there. A lot more Terrans are willing to take it to that point. Another attempted ling run by, and this one's not so bad. Surprisingly few SCVs on the mineral line because so many of them were building a wall, which is kind of funny, but all the lings are cleaned up. And what does Guru have back at home? Lings are running back to the main base, and a couple of banelings as well, who are about to have speed. Yeah, go for the queens. Elushiver would have been nice, but... Oh no. Oh, he kind of mismicroed that. Oh, jeez. Oh, god. Yeah, he wanted to go back to pick up the Marines with the empty medevac, and then accidentally went back with the full medevac, who was less healthy. LT Pilot, Lieutenant Pilot, has been saving esports for 6 months. Woo, solo Corsair Cup cast. Yep, just me. And my voice hurts. Well, mutas are now out, and the medevac shenanigans will be halted. For the most part. But aLive really is playing to the 3rd, 4th, you come to me kind of style of play, which, again, depending on your point of view, can backfire or be absolutely, you know, amazing. Guru goes for Infestation Pit, which he is. He goes to Ultralisk, and he makes 10 of them because nothing else is happening and he has that much of a bank. Okay, that's fine and dandy, but if aLive is already on a 4th base, 3 starports, 12 Liberators, and on his way to a Ghost Academy, I don't think it actually matters that you were able to get to Ghost so quickly, or sorry, to Ultralisk so quickly and so easily. You're both going to be matching each other with those late game compositions, and your control is going to be where it's most important. I am a little worried just with the whole idea of the creep spread, though, and like the amount of control that Guru gets on the map is always a little bit scary. You know, aLive's thinking that he's all good on 4 bases, and really a Taran on 4 bases is pretty damn good, but finally tries to move out for whatever reason, and there's like creep up to here, and all the bases are taken. That's a little bit scary, you know. Oh, it was almost so cool. That was a cool idea. ASCVs go down. We still have a little more dedication to the Mutalisk. It's gonna go up to almost 20, in fact. Or did I just... Oh, I just missed it. Okay, so no. Just 16. 2-2s finished up for both players. 3-3 will be on the way for Guru as soon as his Hive is done. As again, like, without much going on here, without much trading to be done, he's not wasting any Balins or anything. He'll have enough to bank for 3-3, Chitinous playing Adrenal Glands, plus the Ultra's Cavern, and, you know, whatever else. This drop, by the way, has just been there forever. It's gonna clear up some creep. Ah, it misses the live creep tumor, though. That sucks. He wants this to continue clearing up creep, but unfortunately just revealed that it's over here, so the mutas are gonna absolutely kill this. Decent attempt to target fire there, that's one of the mutas. But it's 10 minutes in this game and not much has happened. Killing 1 or 2 mutas is not going to be the same as if there's constant back and forth action, and oh my god, he needed the extra 2 mutas because he doesn't have enough now. Like, there's something really to hype up about that. aLive does have his 4th all set up though, and I love the missile turrets too. I think the threat, sometimes, the old-fashioned threat of going back into Mass Mutalisk has got to be a little bit scary. But with the fact that you're going to build Liberators eventually anyway, it's always like, is it ever really that scary? I don't know. But, you know, surprise 20 Mutalisk is going to do damage. As long as it's a surprise. I love the wall, but I do wonder how that's going to set up aLive's expanding pattern. I guess he's going to expand here next. Base going to go down. Ultralisk are not ready. There's a lot of Marauders. They do soak up quite a lot of Banelings. There's also a lot of Widow Mines, but he's getting a little too far forward. The Lings were able to bust through the wall. They were able to bust into the 3rd base. They're trying to get on top of production now as well and doing a pretty damn decent job. In fact, aLive is going to take that base snipe and leave, also with, I guess, a handful of Banelings. Really, it's just, yeah, just take this other base and replant this base too, because he's banking enough minerals for it. It's not that he did a ton of damage on the other side of the map. 15 SCVs is good, but on 4 bases, it's, you know, also easily reproduced. It's that so much chaos happened, and he got to bring the army back home, which is always the biggest thing for Zergs. Whoopsie. Yeah, Gear doing some nice little damage there. Is moving across the map and going off of creep to do this. His mutas run into a bunch of Marines, never ideal. And this is a little bit scary. Again, he has all the upgrades. He even got +1 Carapace for his mutas here. Oh, dang, that was a lot of blood. But if he does lose this army in one like ill-fated attack, his ultras will be without cover, and that's something that he has to be considerate of. So I like that he pulled back on the creep. Lings do try and counterattack again. A nice little hit there from the Widow Mine helps out a bit, but more SCVs are going down. And aLive's even about to dip to below 40. But because he has so few SCVs, he has a bigger army supply. 52 more Lings on the way. Ultra's about to pop, and they should have plating by the time they help with this engagement, but oh, the Banelings just crashed into those Marauders. Not leaving much for the Marines after that. That's a little bit scary. I was even, like, that seems so purposeful too, and usually it really is never ideal. I'm wondering if he wants to take out the Marauders so that the Ultralisk are just that much more effective. Mind you, Ultralisk, you know, they usually don't care if it's Marines or Marauders, but Marauders are technically a little bit more effective. And despite aLive going for his own quick 4th base, you know, he got a 2nd starport, there's really not that many Liberators. Oh, but the Ultras, what are you doing? Help the engagement. Help the engagement. What are you doing? Mutas are taking on the Liberators, something to stop them from doing that, and the Marines just get slaughtered here by the Banelings, and the Ultras come in a little bit after that, and aLive just dips down so heavily in supply. I mean, he tried, I guess he saw a moment where he could win. You know, he bullied Guru back so easily here that he thought he could do it again with this 2nd push, but Guru had so much on the way. He had a better position, and he was expecting it a little bit more too. He was more prepared. This base actually die? Oh my god. Well, I didn't expect that, which is why I didn't come back to check on it, but damn, that wasn't supposed to happen. aLive's dead. Don't be fooled, but I really thought he'd play this game differently. Instead, I think he thought he saw an opportunity to win it with bio. But he really probably should have waited for a maxed out army with Liberators and Ghosts. You know, take the counter damage every so often, fine, you lost 15 SCVs, whatever, but if you're gonna, you know, build a 5th CC and bulk up anyway, then who cares? So there's like a Liberator drop or something over here. And instead, aLive just tried to push and force the issue. 12 drones easily replaced, in fact, probably too many drones to replace that. Ultralisk are found without support, they gotta run. You can still target these things down, even with full upgrades. Jeez, takes a long time though. And mutas are being reinvested into. At this point, it's usually Corruptors, but the Liberator count was never very high. And whenever they're used, they have to be used against the Ultralisk, because again, there's not enough of them to be both. Thank you to Bad Rang 69 for the $10 donation. Thank you to Optional Player for the 16-month resub. This game is almost over. aLive does find a decent position. The old Ultralisk... Oh, actually, Liberators help out a lot there, too. Oh, the Woodamines helped out a lot there, too. Oh, damn. Okay, so... As I talk about, the old Ultralisk, you find them in any type of Sim City, and they're gonna die, because they're dumb, and they didn't have as much armor. But with the new Ultralisk, even with the help of a choke here, you can see that a lot of the bio is still going down. It was the case that the Liberator was still alive and Woodamines got decent shots that helped out just before. But that's, I mean, that's supplied. 30 to 170. Jeez. Alright, well that... You could say that looks like an Apotheosis game. You know, okay, the Zerg got maxed out with Ultras and whatnot, and the Taran couldn't keep up. But I would say that I feel like aLive made the mistake here stylistically with how he played it. It wasn't really the map's fault. Not there, anyway. Well, next map is going to be his choice, which is always nice. Thanks to Mitsta2 for the 29-month resub. That's a long time. Frost is his choice. Alright, so Frost. I always find this an interesting choice. There's always something to be said about players just choosing maps that they're comfortable with, regardless of if, you know, the actual overall statistics prove that it's bad for you for one reason or another. If you like a map, you like a map and you're comfortable on it. And you might even have a couple of abusive builds on said maps, but, you know, I think as Zerg, what do they prefer? Apotheosis, New Gettysburg, usually. Frost cross-spawn, as well, is nice for them. For Terrans, Dasan Station technically favors them, but in such a weird, you know, risky way that no one chooses it, right? Frozen Temple is pretty good. So I guess that would have been one I would have expected. Frost, any other position except Cross, I think is good. And technically there's a better chance to get any other position except Cross. But when it is Cross, and occasionally it is, that's when I worry about the same kind of game happening as Apotheosis. Just Zerg being able to kind of run away with the game. Though, you know, if they could not have, like, another 30-minute game, that'd be great. I thought that was 30 minutes. It was, like, 15. But yeah, that'd be super. Okay, it is Cross. Feels bad. In the top left, as the red Taran, he is alive. In the bottom right, as the purple Zerg, he's Guru. And looking better and better every single time. Not necessarily like when I cast him, I literally see leaps and bounds of his skill being improved. But if you look over the course of all of the weekly cups that we've done, he seems to be getting to the finals and winning the finals more and more often. And more convincingly too, like, you know, first 2-1 the semis and then 2-0s, which if this game looks like last game, it's certainly going to be a very convincing 2-0 for Guru. As I know aLive has it in him to play that really passive, or not passive, well, kind of passive. I know he has it in him to play that defensive, like, you know, Mass Liberator Ghost style. Most Terrans nowadays have it in them. Initially, it was very much like, no, we'd never want to play that style because it's too hard to get to, and Ultras are still too hard. Bjorn was doing it, you know, a year ago, but it still was only Bjorn. Now I feel like a lot of Terrans don't mind it, but they do have to play to it, you know? To be the aggressive Taran player on 3 bases that's constantly dropping and attacking and reinforcing, as well as be the Taran who gets to a 4th base and 2 starports, 3 starports actually, and eventually go Ghost Academy. To do both of those seamlessly is very difficult. So you do see a lot of like either basically all-ins on 3 bases or very you know, safe play to 4 bases and more starports. But it's the Terrans that can do it seamlessly, that can have the aggression but not quite overcommit to get to the macro game and the late game, that are the ones that are very impressive. You know, the Terrans that have the micro tricks and you know, amazing rallies and whatever, like that's cool too, but the ones that can, I guess, understand the pacing of a TvZ, no matter what type of TvZ it is more impressive in my books. But Guru, Guru, he can play his own, you know, variety of styles as well. So he doesn't have to rely on Ultralisk, although he was certainly one of the main Ultralisk abusers, shall I say? Like, you're supposed to abuse your race. This is not a knock on him at all, but, you know, he's definitely one of the Zergs that you would see in a lot of cups and tournaments that would just go up to Ultralisk and, you know, win. Because Terrans are having a tough time, but he's been working with Midgame Bling. We saw it last game, and we'll see it probably in a couple other games, assuming he wins here and faces Keen. And he can also still play to the Roach style. He can also do his own, you know, the couple of all-ins that look wonky. He doesn't really do anything. That some Zergs like to do, you know, like 3 base, no saturation, no 3rd base, Ling all-in. Like, I know he can do that, although I think he's less likely to. These are all things that aLive would have to consider. But aLive's kind of doing his own thing right now. Still going for that fast 3rd CC, very easily scouted, by the way, since on the front lines, so Lings know. And Guru, you know, seeing that, this is actually one of those positions where he could say, like, you know what, I'm not going to join up my 3rd base. I'm going to thought down a Baneling Nest and make nothing but Lings. But decides not to, or is a little bit too late to swap up his plan, you know, because mentally he's been prepping for one thing and not the other. Oh, these Hellions actually getting a decent amount of damage done. 7 drones ain't bad for 2 Hellions, tell you what. A lot of other ones are weak too. So that was a nice use of them. But anyway, you see this and you can try and change your mind and go for a Ling all in, but he's droning and he's still droning too. So aLive, you know, maybe a little bit scared, like, oh shit, that was suddenly he's abusing Lings, like, oh god, but no, he doesn't have to worry about it. And he's apparently not. He's not getting a bunker or anything. I was gonna say, only 1 Chain Bay? Why? But 2 makes sense. So, if Guru's not gonna go for, like, the all-in or anything like that, all-in, really fast tech, just are the 2 options, then the 3rd option that he looks to be probably going for would be something like last game, where he didn't really explode with drones. He didn't suddenly have 65. He actually did make a handful of Lings, as he's doing again here, to do something, but he could. He could go up to as many drones as he wants for quite a while before aLive can do anything about it. aLive is getting Medivacs and Stim, so, you know, kind of like a minute, because of course you have to wait for the Medivacs, wait to load up, and then wait to get over to the other side of the map. In a minute, Guru will need those Banelings. But aLive also needs to secure his 3rd base, so Guru could probably send his Lings over here and get a lift off. Of course, he doesn't know that. He only has so much scouting. He does have Nagas. He has an Overlord over here, an Overlord over here. Not bad. He's getting a 4th base, and his creep spread's starting to get out there, but still not the greatest. Larry's almost finished up, and he's getting more Lings, as he realizes that time's coming around where you can start pressuring me, you can start using your Medivacs, but they're not going to be too potent. You know, they're coming a little bit later than the 2-1-1 would have been, and they still don't have combat shields, so Guru should just be able to respond quick enough not to lose a devastating amount of units. And I think he's realized that as well, right? Like, he has a pretty good number of Lings. 6 Banelings can be tricky, sometimes they can be focused down, but usually that's an okay amount. And now he can start getting up to that 60+ drone count. But he's actually out of position, did not see this going to the very south, and will probably have to cancel this base. Yeah, cancel. So that's a nice little pickoff for aLive. For, you know, almost bare Marines, only with stim. It's pretty good. But now kind of... Is this intentional? Maybe. Oh, dear God. Okay, well... Yeah, I couldn't tell if that was intentional or he just was macroing or something, because he was taking an okay trade, but he actually had worse upgrades, so... That was never going to go super well for him. As that second engineering blade was a little bit late. Well, Guru needs to replant that 4th base, but he's at 67 drones, and he really doesn't need to make any more. He's got faster upgrades, Spire about 75% done, and is looking pretty golden to take a convincing stance on Frost in these cross positions. aLive, he still has a drop going around here, and that's fine. Oh, they would have stimmed right into an army. You know, by the time his real push comes forward, there'll be quite a bit of creep spread, and I'm also not sure what splash he's relying on quite yet. He has 2 Widow Mines, but not really producing many more, even though he has a reactor here. So really just, you know, mostly bio, mostly numbers and control on his units. Bailing speed only just starting. That is a little bit late, I suppose. And Guru is banking quite a lot, so he could have definitely gotten that sooner, but oh well. The Spire's done, but it looks like he's not going to bother getting Mutalisk. Infestation Pit comes down, and maybe thinking just straight to Hive. Oh my god, that was a good hit. And maybe just thinking straight to Hive. Nope, okay, there it is. Sometimes you see Zerg players get the Spire and then wait a little bit, and if they see Liberators, you know, plural Liberators, they go for Corruptors instead of Mutalisk, but I think he was just doing other things, like trying to attack and getting wrecked. Hive is on the way. This drop is still alive, and is going to continue trying doing whatever it can, basically. So, links here and there, creep tumors here and there. Things can add up, but I think you really would want a drop clearing up this creep spread before it got too insane. It's not really insane right now. 1 or 2 scans will clean most of it up, but it's always a little scary to walk onto that creep. Upgrade's going to be done for Guru, but not quite for aLive, and I hope he considers that when he pushes in like this. Only 3 Widow Mines to help out, take out, you know, mass amount of Banelings, or even hell, against a mass amount of Lings. Sometimes be scary if they, you know, have better upgrades than you. aLive is maxed out, and Guru might have gone too quickly. Oh, okay, that was decent. Sorry, Guru might have gone too quickly to Ultralisk here. He's actually pretty far down in supply, but damn, aLive is on creep and he's not even cleaning it up here. Oh, that Widow Mine got most of the Banelings. That was pretty decent. That Baneling hit was a lot better, but once again, Guru letting a lot of his Banelings hit the Marauders, always unideal. And not a lot of Mutalisk left over, so even though he had the better upgrades and he had aLive on creep, he just didn't have enough Banelings. Enough army in general, and aLive, oh my god, aLive is making so much. Yeah, put it for 4th base down, man. Put more production down. But Guru, same thing. He's making a lot, but now he's in an awkward situation where he's going to lose his 3rd base, for sure. Banelings are okay, decent shots, but Guru he was slightly underprepared. I think with the fact that aLive was on creep this entire time, Guru could have pushed this back. But he just didn't have quite enough, and now maybe he still will. Everything's reinforcing. It is Frost cross position. This is where the fact that it's cross position will really start to highlight, is when aLive just barely doesn't have enough to keep pushing in here. But it looks like he just barely does. The Mutalisk number is going down here. It's only at 5. 8 more on the way, though, and I do like that decision to go for more Mutalisk if it was anything else, but it might be too late. His drone line at the natural is compromised, and just, okay, it's dead now, so it's no longer compromised, and that's game. GG. Guru reaching a little too quickly and under defending. So aLive, that was hella risky though. I want to make that very clear. Like aLive, to push that deep on the creep without scanning. I think he scanned ahead and saw that he had a bigger army, so that's some type of scouting, but not to, you know, clear up the creep or anything like that. It was just really dangerous. That's a couple of good Widow Mine shots, a couple of miscontrols from Guru, and just a much bigger army supply led to that win. So that's going to tie everything up. 1-1 in this best of 3, and it is going to be Guru's map choice. I'm going to go to a quick break. See you in 2 minutes. We're into the ace match here on New Gettysburg. In the bottom left as the purple Zerg, he is Guru. In the bottom right as the red Taran, he's aLive. Thanks to Capricorn for the 16-month resub and Girthang3019 for the 18-month resub. Oof. We still have the finals to also go through, and the winner of this will be facing Keen in those finals, best of 5. Could be a TvT or another TvZ. I was feeling pretty confident for Guru after that first game, and with the way that the second game was looking to go. You know, you had those cross spawns, and oh shit. You had those cross spawns, and aLive really wasn't doing a lot, although he did have a bit earlier of medevac pressure. That helped, because he was able to deny a 4th base. That was better. It still wasn't a ton. But that attack, it came with more power than Guru was expecting. He probably thought, like, oh shit, it's on creep, and it's only bio. I'm like, oh, what a big deal. But no, he definitely under-defended while trying to reach for those Ultralisk. But I gotta assume the reason he's doing this is not because he thinks, oh, aLive's figured me out, and I could never win against him in a macro game. Like, no, that's not what he's thinking. He's probably thinking, okay, this SOB has gone for a 3rd CC build every single game so far. I'm going to try and take advantage of that. But while he's not going for a 3rd CC build, aLive is still going for Hellions is what I was gonna say, but then he kind of changed his mind. I wonder, what did the Reaper see? Reaper didn't see anything. Well, it's a good thing he did change his mind, because I would say, oh, never mind, okay. I guess maybe he saw the Overlord move in and thought that he wanted the Marines first. Okay, alright. Well, that's unfortunate. So it's not a 3cc build, but it is still Hellion based. It's going to be a Hellbat all-in, actually. I was wondering if it was going to be Banshees or not, and I was going to say Banshees eventually clean these up. No Banshee eventually not clean this up. You know how it works. If he doesn't have a bunker, if all he has are these really weak-ass light units, Guru could do a ton of damage. And in fact, the first indication of the attack was that. It is only 3 roaches, though. If this is 6... aLive might be dead with how much damage he would take. You know, just imagine how much more damage that is. But with only 3 and a handful of slow lings, they still got 9 workers. Yeah, and that's pretty good, because Guru was droning up behind it the entire time. So maybe Guru's thinking like, oh man, if only I had really all in, I would have won this game. But now you might be thinking like, okay, what do they have? They have Hellions and they have medevac and Marines. So it's got to be a Hellbat attack. All I need to do is get a couple units to defend against a Hellbat attack, and I'm going to be even better after defending or after doing that damage. Because if a Hellbat attack doesn't do any damage, it's pretty bad for the Taran. Hellbats are surprisingly effective even against the bulkier units as like Queens and Roaches. So as you can see, Guru is having trouble cleaning this up. The DPS isn't quite there to out-DPS the medevac, and the Queens are not focus firing it either, but a lot of those Hellbats suddenly getting low. One is picked up, handful of Marines and Reaper. Not a lot to work with here for a drop, but at least you did something with the Hellbats. You killed a Queen, you killed Lings, 1 or 2 Roaches, I think, and what, like 2 drones? Oh, not even. It's not a lot. It's not that great, I would say. It looks like it might be able to get into the drone line, which is its ultimate goal. It was unable to, and aLive just needs to make something happen with this drop, because Guru should be in a very good position now. He dealt damage, he droned behind it, he defended, he droned behind it. He's getting a good scout too, so he's not going to be surprised, because this is definitely a surprise. To see a Banshee and a tank come out, that's a lot of gas not going into stim, sorry. And you'd want to know that, because there is 2 options here for aLive, right? There's, okay, I gotta get to stim and, you know, more barracks, 2 base all in it. There's the, I'll throw down a 3rd CC and try and recover my losses. And then there's this one, which is going for a Banshee, which could have been a big, deadly surprise. Unfortunately, the scout went down. He wasn't able to get the drone over there to build a spore crawler, so... The combo of leftover units and Banshee is proving to be kind of difficult for Guru. Although now the Banshee's gone, you can clean this up. He realizes that. Lair is finished, and he's still trying to drone once he realizes he can get this cleaned up. But where was that? What? What? Was that on purpose? I guess maybe he was confused. Yeah, I think what happened there was he was like, where's the army? Why isn't it cleaning up the third base? And was worried there was a big roach force coming his way, but... I feel the roaches would be coming through the bridge, not north. Oh well. Okay, so Guru doesn't actually, like, accelerate full speed ahead to a perfect economy, despite dealing damage and defending against the Hellbats, because it wasn't clean, you know, and the defense against the Banshees wasn't clean despite being scouted. It was just wasn't scouted early enough. And aLive being only down 10 workers, now less, it was actually really good for the Taran on three command centers, his third having just finished up. And the Banshees provide a very good emergency defense if Guru were to throw his hands up and go, ah, son of a, you know, gun, and move across the map. They would protect the Taran if the tank was unable to, and the tank would probably be able to. Now you have Guru supply blocked even a little bit, 3 overlords all in the way. Like, he actually had a lot of trouble, even though he didn't take super direct damage for a while with the Hellbat attack. He cleaned up kind of, you know, by losing a few more units than he had to, or was ideal. And then the third base was surprisingly hard to control for Guru with the Medevac Banshee combo. Everything's settled down now, and Guru should be on an ideal drone count, 60-ish. Yeah, a little bit more than 60. And he's gonna go for Roach, Ravager, and Fester, which is certainly a deadly composition, but aLive is in a great job coming back. I said only down about 10 workers is not so bad at all, and he's getting his third CC up. His stim, of course, was late, you know, considering all that he got before it, but the way this pacing the game has gone, it's really not that bad. I'll have medevacs to use with it, and I'll have different opportunities of attacking. Excuse me. I was gonna say, there's obviously an overseer right there, but he cleans up the creep, which isn't bad. There's also another thing Guru had missed out on. By not having a bunch of queens, either they died, or they just weren't being produced for one reason or another, does not have a lot of creep, or a lot of transfuse. Oh, Hydra's down on the way. What? Well, let's see what that's gonna be for. I'm not sure. The Hive, I think we all know what that's gonna be for, but the Hydra stand is a little weird. aLive is really afraid Guru is going to all-in him, it seems. First there's that scan in the middle of the map, and then there was this bunker here. It's not a bad, it's actually like a very reasonable fear, because that's something that Guru could have done. You know, he's checking this fourth base and saying, oh shit, you're on a fourth base, so you're gonna, you know, you're maxed out right now, are you gonna attack me? But no, actually Guru is investing into tech, and surprisingly, that tech includes Hydralisk. So, he is not ready to attack, not yet. A couple overlords will go down, and that will supply block Guru. He's already got 4 on the way, though, so maybe not for long. Upgrades are in favor of Guru? No, they're not. He never got, or he delayed +1 missile attack, so it's... Well, no, it's still be in favor of him. Yeah, 2-1. aLive only just now starting his 2-2. Combat shields. Pretty late, of course. Vipers. Am I watching Herd of the Swarm? There's no Liberators, but there's Ravagers, so no? Okay, well, Roach, Hydra, Viper was definitely a composition you used against Mech back in the day. It also was a composition you used against Bio if you played on Merry-Go-Round. Ravagers really, like, mixed that dynamic up, though. That's what I'm gonna blame for the lack of Hydralisk usage in Legacy of the Void. So to see them here is just kind of a trip. Fourth base on location being built should be planetary, and Guru really can't do very much about it. I don't think he ever got Ling speed. Oh, no, he did. He just didn't really bother getting any more Lings, because that's the one thing that's going to be able to go over there and catch, you know, greedy moves like this, is having a handful of Lings running around the map. Oh, these drops, they're hitting before the Spore Crawlers are done, and the Queens can only help out so much, so they're going to go down here. Transfuses means they're going to be able to get maybe 1 medevac? Nah. Not quite. Sporeclaw is gonna get taken down, and Army's moving across the middle of the map, but it's just the roaches. It's just the roaches. aLive should definitely win this fight. That was odd. It was very odd. I feel like that was a hotkey issue somehow, but there's some roaches over here too. That was weird. It's not like Guru can give away these roaches freely. He doesn't have that much larva, and he doesn't have that much money. This fourth base only just now set up, and the Banshee's still alive. Jesus. How much of damage have they done? 12, 7. I don't know what that's in, but they've been alive for too long. If they get this base, that'll just... He figures there's an Overseer. There's actually not. Making 3 of them now. Those Banshees have been doing work. And Guru is maxed out. But aLive is now at that point where all Terrans want to be against Roach Hydra Viper. Roach Hydra. Vipers kind of throw a wrench into things sometimes. But you want to be close to maxed out with equal upgrades and a good number of tanks. And if you got all that, assuming you don't find yourself in a terrible position, you should actually win the fights straight up. But like I said, Vipers change things. Sometimes you saw Vikings being produced to snipe them. Sometimes you just saw better positioning from the Taran to try and stop the blinding clouds from being effective. But here they go running into the army to get the Liberators, which I can see being a good idea, but unfortunately they just get mostly sniped before they do very much. Liberator was pulled not even dying here, and the ground army can't take on the ground army of aLive. But here's the real trick. 6 ultras are on the way. They're not going to have any melee upgrades, but they are going to have +3 carapace and chitinous plating, so, you know, still pretty damn good. aLive is on 4 bases, but he just lost a couple of Liberators, and he's not really producing that many more. He'll certainly take on this army, and I am a little bit afraid that Guru won't have enough fodder for his Ultralisk. You know, like, where's the Ling Flood, where's the Banelings, where's the Fungals, where's the Queens? Just Ultralisk can be sniped by this big of an army. But he didn't lose all of his Roaches and Hydras. Just a good chunk of it, and aLive does have a better army supply here. Oh, this is a nice attack plan. Viper should be sniped. No? Tanks actually weren't sieged. You barely see that anymore, and there's not a lot of medevacs, and aLive just gets absolutely swamped here. Now, it looks like he'll get a 4th base, and he did kill this base, too. Oh, get the base, get the base, get the base. He gets it. Don't know why he's sticking around here, though. If he had 5 medevacs, I wouldn't mind it so much. But, whoa, my god, 1 stim. Oh, he's trying to focus down as many ultras as he can while reinforcing. But where is his production? I'm not sure where he's reinforcing to. I don't think he had any. I think he was too busy microing and getting everything else set up. That he is starting to bank quite a few minerals. But he ends up saving this army, which is really important. But still, that medevac count. This has been a problem occasionally. I feel like most Terrans fixed it, though, because they'd start going for 2 and 3 starports. But not having enough medevacs to heal, because you have to go for Liberators, or you just kind of forget for the moment. As he has not added on a reactor quite yet for the starport. That's pretty big. Look at how many units are just going to be like 1 cleave from the Ultralisk. And they're all going to die. What was that? Was that bunker? It was. Yeah, you aren't going to be too useful now. 3-3 is about to be finished, and that will give aLive a upgrade lead, but... Is that going to help out more than better units? More medevacs? I don't know. Oh, finally, 4 medevacs. Oh god, he needed that. Oh, he didn't need it. I mean, Guru, rightfully so, a little scared to push in here. The Ultralisk, again, they can be sniped. They don't have a lot of protection to, you know, make them as effective as they could be. No Fungals to keep them in place, no Lings to surround. So he did have to be careful, but this army is severely overstimmed. And if there were Lings stopping the retreat, stopping the micro, I think Guru would absolutely take that fight. Or Fungals, which he's trying to get. Ooh, I love this. aLive taking this base, but also the island base with his main command center. And not that Guru couldn't do something about it, he probably could, but he might never check or ever bother, and that could be a freebie Mulehammer base. In fact, making a couple SCVs for gas wouldn't be such a bad idea. Maybe. You know, he's on 4 bases that could get gas. without that one. And he's also still banking a bit of gas, so maybe he'll need it. But more ultras getting sniped on their retreat path. And Festers don't quite have enough energy. But aLive is getting a little too far forward. Again, thank God those investors don't have energy, or he'd be risking a very, very good fungal. 4 libras at a time now, too. So he went for the double reactor, which means he won't have that range. But since there's nothing really to... I mean, range is always going to be useful. But it might not be as useful as just having liberators straight up. Ultras are getting sniped so quickly. They have plating. No mistake, but it's just the army is able to easily snipe them down without much consequence, as they also micro back. 7-year Twitch has been saving esports for 6 months. Thank you very much. Well, now no Guru knows about it, but can't do anything about it. More Ultras trying to be sniped, more Infestors trying to be sniped with those Marauders. Very good use there, and there's only one Infestor left over. He would love to get that. As more Liberators are produced, he can also start leapfrogging forward. Oh jeez. These are the diversion tactics? Like, these poor Ultras. I think that is their job, but you know what? 3 Ultras, especially since 2 of them are low, I don't think we've taken on a planetary. Well, that's the slowest chase you've ever seen on Sem's bio against Ultralisk. Dramatic. Oh, fight goes on in the middle of the map. The Ravagers do get on top of those Liberators, but there's so many Marauders left. Another, chunk of the army comes back, and Ravagers certainly can't help deal with the bio. They can only help versus the Liberators. Ultralisk should be target fired here, and Fester wants to get target fired as well. It now has a fungal. But Guru is not using it. Oh god, there he goes. I think that's too much from aLive. Guru's trying to reinforce here, but he can't make any ultras. He's so starved on gas. He never took these gas geysers. I mean, he could have maybe had these gas geysers, but not for very long. It's really more like, oh man, never taking these ones is pretty damn big. He's trying to reinforce with Lynx now, but a lot of these queens have been on the front line for some time, so his larva is probably a problem. I think aLive done it. I think he's got this. He's just going with medevac production now. He's on like a ton of bases. Lings, funnily enough, because he has so many Marauders, are actually kind of a trick to deal with. So he's going to need to definitely reinforce first. These Lings are going to try and get a counterattack in, but all these are planetaries. Oh, this one dreams to be planetary one day. 5 more queens. That's a good use of your minerals. You don't need to spend larva on it either, but they're not going to be popping out anytime soon with a lot of transfuses. One pops out here and then dies immediately. Lings do get on top of the non-planetary, so unfortunate for aLive here, but aLive I think is just going to win the game. So that's pretty fortunate for him. And that's almost that. Hatchery goes down. Ravagers go down. And that's it. I don't know who he was talking to. Was it me? I don't know. Was it aLive? I don't know if aLive even understood him. A GG! aLive will go on to face Keen in a TvT best of 5 finals. First though, gonna take a break. See you guys soon.